Today's learning target is I can evaluate nth roots and rational exponents with a calculator. I'm going to show you some examples on both a scientific and a graphing calculator. If you are still using your phone, you still need to buy a calculator. The suggestion from this text is when using a calculator to approximate an nth root, you may want to rewrite the nth root in rational exponent form, and that definitely is easier. It is much easier to type in an exponent on the calculator. However, I'm also going to show you how you can put in other roots and where those functions are located on each calculator. If you look at the examples they've given you, and these have worked out solutions, I just wanted you to see kind of what it would look like if you were to change it to a rational exponent. So 9 to the 1/5 is already in rational exponent form. And so if you look over here, it gives you an example of what that might look like on your calculator screen. You would type in 9 to the power of, and notice they put the exponent in parentheses. That is a requirement, otherwise the calculator will not follow the order of operations correctly. And you should get an answer of approximately 1.55. They've given you another example here for 12 to the 3/8. You should get approximately 2.54. Now, on the graphing calculator, just in case you're not familiar with this, or if you have not used this function on your calculator before, the power key, for example, to put in 9 to the 1/5, you would hit 9 and then to the power of. The power key is right above the division, and then in parentheses you would do 1 divided by 5. There is no fraction button on the graphing calculators. And so it would look like this when you hit enter. Notice you get approximately 1.55. If you look at a scientific calculator, or if this is what you're working on, something similar to this, it will go in very similarly. You would type in 9. The power key on this model is over here, and then you would parentheses 1 divided by 5. You can use the fraction key. I find it's just as easy to use division, and you will get the same answer. If you look down at example C, it says before evaluating the 4th root of 7 to the 3rd power, rewrite the expression in rational exponent form. 4th root of 7 to the 3rd power would be written as 7 to the 3/4, which you can then type in as shown over here and as we did on the example before. However, and while I do agree this is easy to do and this is much easier to type in, if you wanted to actually use the root functions on your calculator, let me show you where they are. On the scientific calculator, to put in any root, you need to just kind of locate where your root functions are. It's a little hard to see just with the, let me see if I can get a little bit closer. Okay, so here is your square root function. Notice on top of the power key, you have this root symbol with an X. That allows you to put in any other root besides square root. So for example, if you wanted to do the cube root of 8, you have to tell it what root you want it to take. So I would type in 3 first, then I would hit second and get that symbol. So it will look like this, then I would just type in 8. It would be 2. Any root can be done like that. If you wanted to do the 5th root of 32, you would type in 5 to tell it what root you want it to go to, and then 32. There's your answer. On the graphing calculators, all of the root symbols besides square root is right on top of the x squared button, but all of the other root symbols are found under the math menu. So you would hit the math button, and notice you have option 4, you have cube root, and on option 5, you have that general root. These will be typed in just like on the scientific calculator. If you wanted to do the cube root of something, you would hit math 4, and then you could type in whatever number you want to do the cube root of. There you go. Just like on the scientific, if you want to do a general root, you need to tell it what root you want to take it to. So the problem we have here is the 4th root of 7. You would type in 4, then hit math, and the 5th option. This is what the 4th root will look like, and then you would type in 7, for example. And it will tell you that part of the problem is about 1.62. You would then, for this specific example, then need to raise that answer to the 3rd power. So sometimes leaving it in radical form can cause the problem to be 2 steps, whereas rewriting it as a rational exponent first can be put into the calculator a little bit easier. And so that's really the method that I'm going to focus on. So for example, if we wanted to do 6 to the 2/5, and I'm going to work on the graphing calculator, but either one is fine. I would put in 6 to the power of, and then in parentheses, 2 divided by 5. And I get an answer of approximately, it did say to round to 2 decimal places, of approximately 2.05. Okay. You can put in a negative exponent as long as you use the negative symbol, not subtraction. So 64 to the negative 2/3 will be 64 to the power of, and then in parentheses, negative 2 divided by 3. Just make sure you use the negative key, not the subtraction key. You get about 0.06. Again, we could do the 4 through to 16 and then raise that answer to the 5th power. However, I do find it is much easier just to rewrite the problem as 16 to the 5/4 power and then typing that in. And 16 to the power of 5/4 is 32. Notice on number 12 you have a negative radicand, which is fine. Again, I would rewrite this as negative 30 to the 2/3 power. Notice here I did put the negative 30 in parentheses. That is a requirement because you are raising all of that radicand to the 2/3 power. That includes the negative sign. And so I would type this in as parentheses, negative 30 raised to the power of, and then again, still put my exponent in parentheses as well. And I get an answer of approximately 9.65. As you are working with your own calculator, if you are unable to get some of these answers, if you're not sure where some of these functions are located on your specific calculator, please check with your teacher in class and we'll be happy to help you.